Good evening. Thank you all. Thanks. I'm glad somebody said that back. That's very nice. Hello to all of you, and thank you so much for coming out tonight, of all nights. And I mean, it's special for us to have you here to hear us, but also it's a hearty night out there. And so, congratulations to all of you for making the trek. And we're going to do a program that kind of goes through a little bit of the history of jazz. And I've picked out songs that I like by composers I like, and that I think show a feel for the way the music evolved. And in that interest, I'm going to start out with a piece played by the man who said that he invented jazz. His name was Jelly Roll Morton, and he lived in New Orleans in the teens, when New Orleans was a very, very lively place for music. And Jelly Roll Morton was an extraordinarily accomplished pianist and very snappy dresser. He wore diamonds in his teeth and white spats, and really, really was a showman and an extraordinary writer. And he wrote a great many musicals, and a lot of his tunes lasted for decades. And his piano playing was so difficult that he sort of set standards that other people tried to emulate, and he deliberately made his pieces as difficult as possible, and that makes them fun to try to play. And I'm going to start out with one of his called Grandpa's Spells. Thank you. Sounds like an alarm clock here. Okay, there we go. I'm going to play one other piece by him. You know, a thing that you might not notice if I didn't tell you is that Jelly Roll Morton followed Scott Joplin, whom you all know as the main composer of Ragtime. And Scott Joplin wrote and composed completely in the European model. And his music had the form that of a Bach suite or Handel, and there are 4 parts to it. And Jelly Roll Morton did the same thing. You might not have noticed, but there were 4 separate movements to that piece. And the difference between the two of them, Scott Joplin preceded Jelly Roll Morton, and ragtime is not syncopated. And Jelly Roll Morton's music was. Now, that sounds kind of obscure, but you'll hear the syncopation. Thank you. That was called Kansas City Stomp. And he actually wrote where Bach would write Courante or Vivace, Jelly Roll Morton wrote Stomp. That was the name for the fourth piece. And now we're going to go to a trio and play a very old blues song that goes back to the turn of the century. Nobody really knows who wrote this song. It would be easy to say W.C. Handy because he wrote so much, but I don't think that's believed. It's called C.C. Rider, and it was also known as Easy Rider, and all of the blues singers in the 1920s and many of them in the 30s played it. This is a more modern jazz version of it that was done in the early 60s by a brilliant player named Ramsey Lewis. introduce my friends David Stier on drums. And on bass, Arturo Baguer. And let's see, what have we got here? Let's do After You've Gone.
Okay.
Thank you. Our interpretation of that is sort of modeled in my efforts after the Django Reinhardt band that was the hot band in Paris in the 1940s. Django Reinhardt, the fabulous gypsy guitarist, and Stefan Grappelli, who played violin with him, and really they played jazz like nobody played like that before them or after them, but it's fun to take a stab at their style. Now it's time to bring up an extraordinary talent and really a wonderful person, actually. Not that these guys aren't, but I'd like to bring up my friend Marty Friedman. And play a song that was kind of the inspiration for this band. I heard a record quite a long time ago, and it was called the Harry James Boogie Woogie Trio. And this was from a time in the late 1930s when the big orchestras, Tommy Dorsey, Benny Goodman, Count Basie, had guys in the bands that really liked to cut loose and play. And they couldn't do that in the format of the big orchestras because that was for dancing and it was very heavily orchestrated. So there were small combos, and one of them was the Harry James Boogie Woogie Trio. And so we're going to play one of the songs that I didn't spend very much money naming his songs for this trio. One was called Boo Woo, and the other is called Woo Woo. You know, he could have done better than that. But the music is pretty neat, and I'm going to play an imitation of the great boogie woogie pianist Pete Johnson, and Marty's going to play the notes that Harry James played. So here we go. Now, that's Marty Friedman.
Yeah, Marty. Hey there. Hey there.
Guys like him don't come around really often, in case you're wondering. Pretty lucky if you're a jazz band and you get him. There's nobody like him. And, okay, we're going to do something that dates back to the Civil War, and it actually predates jazz pretty much, but a number of jazz players have taken it up, and I kind of like playing it. And we're going to do it called Battle Hymn of the Republic. Thank you very much. Well, we hope John Brown will be turning over in his grave on that one. I think you'd like it, don't you? I mean, why not? That's Courtney Colletti, by the way, in the sweater. And the guitar. Now we're going to do something that is, I don't think too many bands like us do this. We're taking a jump forward. If Art's ready for this one. And we're going to do a song written by Willie Nelson. And Willie Nelson has a lot to do with jazz. You might think of him just as a country writer, but he loves jazz. And some of his songs lend themselves to a jazz interpretation, even though you're used to hearing them by Patsy Cline, and we're gonna play one of those. And you probably already know what the song is going to be. And a little story about it. There are two stories. One that Patsy Cline's husband brought her this tape that Willie Nelson made of this song, and she said, "I hate that. Take it back." And her husband said, "Well, Buck, the producer really loves it." She said, "Well, if he loves it, why doesn't he sing it?" And that's one story. The other story is that he brought the tape home and he said, "This isn't anything any good." And she said, "Let me hear that. I love it." So one of those may be true and the other not. We don't know, but they're both good. I like them both. Thank you. Thank you. That was Art Baguer, Patsy Cline there.
Thank you.
He didn't really want to do this. I
Art
said,
C. Klein.
yeah. He said, I can't sound like Patsy Cline's voice. It's way up on the top of the strings. And I said, I want to hear that. And you did. Wasn't it great?
I don't look as good in a dress, though.
Nobody said anything about that. I don't know where that came from. Okay, now we're gonna get into some more contemporary blues, and we're gonna do something that was originally, I think, made famous by the Count Basie Band with Joe Williams singing, and it's kind of a standard big city blues, and Joe Williams sang on that record, but we don't need him, and we're just gonna play this song called "Every Day I Have the Blues." 1, 2, 3. know, if I could do that, I'd do it too. Wow. Isn't that something? Well, that was the way we played that Count Basie song, and I didn't try to play it like Count Basie at all. I mean, this is the David Barry Hot Band, and we don't have to imitate anybody. And but we've got something really special now, someone really special, because we've got Jane Arthur.
Every day I have the blues.
Sing it, girl.
Every day I have the blues. And now you see me worry, baby, because it's you I hate to lose. Nobody loves me, nobody seems to care. Nobody loves me, nobody seems to care. Speaking of hard luck and trouble, well, you know I had my share. 'Cause every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day I have the blues. You see me worry, baby, because it's you I hate to lose. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mr. David Barry, whoo! I'm gonna pack up my suitcase, move on down the line. I pack up my suitcase, move on down the line. Well, there ain't nobody worried, and there ain't nobody crying. I said every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day I have the blues. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day I have the blues. Well, if you see me worry, baby, because it's you I hate to lose. Thank you, David.
Yeah. It's really a lot of fun to play music. We're doing something that's sort of a straight ahead blues, and I don't actually know who wrote this because a lot of these old blues songs, they're not public domain, but nobody really knows who wrote them. This one's called Down Home Blues.
You say your party's jumping, everybody's having a good time, and you know what's going through my mind. Do you mind if I get comfortable and kick off these shoes while you're fixing me a drink? Play me some of them down home blues. Yeah, well, you know I don't get out much on the town, and you know I done cut out a lot of that running around all week long. Now I'm gonna do as I choose. I said tonight I'll let my hair down and put about you. Tonight I'm letting my hair down and party up with these down home blues. Blues, yeah, yeah, down home blues, yeah. All I wanna hear now, all I wanna hear now, all night long. Every other record or two. So take off those fast jams and party up with this down home blues. Yeah, 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 down home blues, down home blues. All I wanna hear is his down home blues all night long. Yeah, 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 yeah. So take off those fast jams and party up with his down home blues.
Finish up the old time stuff with a song that's so old. This is also something nobody knows who wrote this song. I think maybe W.C. Handy's name is associated with it, and he might have written it, but it goes back to before 1920, and it's called "Careless Love."
Love, there you go to my head like wine, and you read the that is why I sing this song of hate. Oh, love, love, careless love. Every night and day I weep and moan, 'cause the wrong man into this life of mine, and now for my sins till judgment I'll atone. I said for my sins till judgment I'll atone.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you very much.
That's nice. We're going to do a song right now. Which I just learned tonight where it came from. It's always nice to know what the background of a song is, because most of the songs that jazz musicians played in the 1940s and into the 50s, what we call standards from the Great American Songbook, almost every one of those songs was written for a musical. Some of them were written for movies, but we hear them alone, and they stand alone, and they are. And I never would have guessed that the song we're about to do, which has been done by Billie Holiday and the great Bach trumpeter Clifford Brown, was written for a wacky movie that was written by Preston Sturges. And let me see what the name of it was. Easy Living. That was the name of
it. Living for you is easy living. It's easy to live when you're in love, and I'm so in love. There's no one in life but you. I'll never regret the years I'm given. It's easy to give when you're in love, and I'm happy to do whatever I do for you. For you. Maybe I'm a fool, but it's fine. People say you move me with one wave of your hand. Darling, it's grand. They just don't understand. Living for you is easy living. It's easy to live when you're in love, and I'm so in love. There's no one in life but you. for you. Maybe I'm a fool, but it's fine. All those people say you move me with one wave of your hand, darling. It's grand. They just don't understand. Living for you is easy living. It's easy to live when you're in love. And I'm so in love. There's no one in love but you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was sort of a double play with Jane singing vocal and Marty playing the Clifford Brown solo. It's kind of fun to put that
Pleasure,
together.
that is.
Okay, now we're going to do another song that was this one actually wasn't written for a movie. This was no, wait a minute. But before that, we're going to do one that was September in the Rain.
December in the snow.
Yeah.
Lyrics at 11. Thanks everybody for coming out in the weather, whatever it brought to. I really appreciate that. Thank you for giving me a reason, giving all of us a reason. We're very grateful and very happy to be here. The leaves of brown came tumbling down. Remember that September in the rain. The sun went out just like a dying ember. That September in the rain. With every song of love I heard you whisper. The raindrops seem to sing a sweet refrain. Though spring is here, to me it's still September. That September in the rain. With every word of love I heard you whisper. The raindrops seem to sing a sweet refrain. Though spring is gone to me, it's still September. That September in the rain, yeah, that September in the rain.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, now we're going to do a kind of a ballad. I guess it was originally written as a ballad. It was actually written for Frank Sinatra by the lyrics by Sammy Kahn, who was his favorite lyricist, and music was written by Gene Warren. And it's easy to say a song was written by Sammy Kahn, and I think that Sammy Kahn wrote the song. And I was in New York last year listening to a favorite singer of mine, and he had run into the widow of one of the writers of Old Man River, and she said to the people at a party, "My husband wrote Old Man River." And somebody who was at the party who knew what her husband had written said, no, he didn't. He wrote dum, 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 dum. My husband wrote the words.
Whoops.
So it's nice to give credit for both the words and the lyrics. So we've done that. Sammy Kahn, and he was Frank Sinatra's favorite songwriter, and I think this was written directly for Sinatra in 1953. It's called "Teach Me Tonight."
Good, I was thinking it was Rupert Stay Away.
You said it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Did you say I've got a lot to learn? Well, don't think I'm trying not to learn. Since this is the perfect spot to learn, teach me tonight. Starting with the ABC of it, right down to the XYZ of it. Help me solve the mystery of it. Teach me tonight. The sky is a blackboard high above you. If a shooting star goes by, I'll use that star to write I love you 1,000 times across the sky. One thing isn't very clear, my love. Should the teacher stand so near, my love? Graduation's almost here, my love. Come on and teach me tonight. The sky's a blackboard high above you. If a shooting star goes by, use that star to write I love you 1,000 times across the sky. One thing isn't very clear, my love. Should the teacher stand so near, my love? Graduation's almost here, my love. Come on and teach me. Graduation's almost here, my love. Show me how it is. Teach me, baby. I want you to teach me, darling. Teach me tonight. Teach me tonight.
We've just about run out of time here, and we've been having a really good time playing for you all. And I hope you are. We're going to end up with one song that we've done before and you've heard before, but you haven't heard it done quite like this. And it's a song that a writer named Bobby Troop wrote on his way home after the war from Chicago, driving to Los Angeles. And with his wife, they pulled onto the highway that was called Route 66. And his wife looked at the sign and said, "Get your kicks on Route 66. And when they got to Hollywood, Bobby Troop wrote a song. And Nat King Cole wrote it, I recorded it, and it became pretty famous. We'll do this now.
Mexico, that's South Arizona, Dulce, Arizona, Cayman and Boston and San Bernardino. Won't you get hip to this time exists? So let away to you, make that California trip. Come on and get your kicks on Route 66. Marty Friedman.
Yeah.
And this is Baguer. All right, indeed.
Yeah.
Courtney, let's folks.
Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty. See, Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, that's Arizona, don't forget Winona. Big man and house here and see, yeah, to the sun, he tells, when California, she come on and get your kicks on Route 66. Come on and get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66.
Jane Arthur, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, David Band.
Well, we really are tremendously grateful to you for coming out tonight. It's just, it's fabulous. Makes us feel good. The work we put into playing these songs, which is fun, but it's nice to have people hear them. And you're a great audience. Just in case you might have forgotten, this is David Stier on drums. Yeah. And Art Baguer on bass. Courtney Colletti on guitar, and I don't know what. Yeah. And Marty Friedman on sax and trumpet. And the ineffable Jane Arthur. And I'm David Barry. Thank you very much, and good night. We hope to see you again. Thank you. Thanks to the RrazzRoom for putting on such a nice show. What a great job they do with the sound and the lighting and everything. Terrific.